Tomorrow is Election Day in West Virginia and Nebraska, where early voting has been underway for weeks. Those primary results will tell us more about former President Donald Trump's hold on the GOP. West Virginia Secretary of State, Republican Mac Warner, joins me now from Morgantown, West Virginia, with more on this. Secretary, thank you for being here. What do you think is the #1 issue on West Virginians' minds as they head to the polls?
Well, we have an exciting congressional race where we have two incumbents that are pitted against one another. Due to the Census Bureau redistricting, where we lost a congressman. So that's perhaps the top race in the state. But there are many more down ballot races, always exciting, are the county commissions and Board of Education races. So we're looking forward to an exciting day tomorrow here at the polls in West Virginia.
Do you think Roe versus Wade and last week's release of that draft opinion from the Supreme Court is mobilizing voters one way or the other?
Well, it certainly may. I think we already have a very divided electorate, and that's why it's so important to not take your protests to the streets so much, but express your voice at the ballot box. That's what our American democracy is all about, and that's what the beauty of tomorrow is. It gives everybody a chance to vote and express their opinion. So, yes, it may excite the base, but I think we're going to have an exciting election either way.
Now, you mentioned this. Because of West Virginia's shrinking population, congressional districts went from 3 to 2, and so that's forcing a primary between sitting Congressmen David McKinley and Alex Mooney. And Mooney is endorsed by former President Donald Trump. McKinley has the backing of the state's Republican Governor Jim Justice and its Democratic Senator Joe Manchin. So how do you see this playing out? And what do you think it will say about where West Virginia's Republican Party is headed?
Well, you've pointed out the exact contradictions between the two candidates. You have a very distinct delineage between the two for the voters to decide upon. But I really think that the voters themselves know these two congressmen. They've both been in office for quite some time. I think they're going to speak their voices without necessarily being so impressed by one endorsement or the other. So that's what makes this one an exciting race to watch.
So how much power do you think former President Trump's endorsement holds in West Virginia right now?
Well, he's certainly very popular. He won by a very large margin here in West Virginia. I think people still are tuned in to what he has to say. But I really don't think that that's going to be the decisive factor in this election. Endorsements are important, but I think people really vote their conscience.
And do you think the endorsement of the state's Democratic Senator Joe Manchin, do you think that helps or hurts Congressman McKinley in this case?
That's a good question. I think I don't know that that's going to have much play at all in this particular race.
Now, I know you've reported a light turnout in early voting so far. Is that still the case? And do you think there's a lack of enthusiasm this primary season for whatever reason?
No, I think that's the nature of presidential year elections. I think that you typically have a smaller turnout. And again, there aren't the big races at the top. You don't have a U.S. Senator on the ballot. Of course, the presidential race is not on there. So you don't have that. But as you said, here in West Virginia, you've got a difference of opinions on a number of issues. Education is always there at the top of the interest list by the voters. And then the politics in West Virginia is changing dramatically. It has in just the last few years from one side to the other. But both sides still have strong factions. And it's a matter for the candidates, the campaigns, and the parties to turn those voters out. So the small turnout, I think, is really more of an indication of it being an off-year election than it is anything else.
All right, Secretary of State Mac Warner of West Virginia, we appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.